Have you ever wondered how we deciphered ancient Egyptian hieroglyphs? While waiting for the appropriate opportunity to capture power, Napoleon Bonaparte sought new glories. The Great Britain commanded the seas and had unrivaled success in international trade. France was still at war with the Great Britain, and Bonaparte sought to impede British trade routes to India in order to establish French dominance in the exotic East. He dodged the British Navy, took the port of Malta, and landed in Egypt with 35,000 soldiers on July 1, 1798. In 1799, a group of French soldiers, led by a young officer named Pierre François Bouchard, stumbled upon a large, black stone in the Egyptian town of Rosetta. It was inscribed with 3 scripts: Greek, Egyptian hieroglyphics, and another Egyptian script called Demotic. The discovery of this stone would prove to be one of the most significant breakthroughs in the history of ancient language decipherment. The entire significance of the stone, however, would not be realized for many years. The story of the Rosetta Stone is one of perseverance and resourcefulness in the face of nearly impossible hurdles, as experts from around the world battled painstakingly to unlock the mysteries of a long-lost language. Herodotus and other important Greeks believed that Egyptian hieroglyphs were something sacred, so they referred to them as holy writing. Hence, the term hieroglyph is derived from the Greek words hiero and glypho. In the ancient Egyptian language, hieroglyphs were known as meta-neter, or the gods' words, because writing was thought to be an invention of the gods. The script was made up of 3 basic types of signs: logograms, which represented words; phonograms, which represented sounds; and determinatives, which were placed at the end of words to help clarify its meaning. As a result, the Egyptians used a much greater number of signs than alphabetical systems. The origin of Egyptian hieroglyphs, like that of most ancient scripts, is unknown. There have, however, been several hypotheses proposed. One of the most convincing arguments is that they are produced by prehistoric hunting communities living in the desert west of the Nile, who were apparently familiar with the concept of communicating through visual imagery. Some of the motifs depicted on these rock images can also be found on pottery vessels from Egypt's early pre-dynastic cultures. The Rosetta Stone is a dark-colored granodiorite stela. It is 113 centimeters in height, 75 centimeters wide and 27.5 inches in diameter, written in 3 scripts: Demotic, hieroglyphic, and Greek. During Napoleon's invasion of Egypt, French soldiers discovered the stone in the city of Rosetta. Rosetta was situated on a Nile tributary on the Mediterranean shore east of Alexandria. Officer Pierre François Xavier Bouchard discovered the big inscribed stone fragment when Napoleon's forces were erecting fortifications. He realized the significance of the juxtaposed Greek and hieroglyphic scripts right away, accurately predicting that each script constituted a translation of a single document. Bouchard was really captivated. He informed the soldiers' French archaeologists, but even they were at a loss for words and wanted to return to France with the item for further examination. Unfortunately, the French were defeated by English forces in 1801 and this attempt was a failure. The defeated were forced to surrender all their treasures of ancient Egypt. As a result, the Rosetta Stone was brought to London as a war prize. To this day, it is still on display in the British Museum. Two painted inscriptions on the slab sides attest to its colonial history, captured in Egypt by the British Army 1801, on the left, and presented by King George III, on the right. The scholars who attempted to decipher the Rosetta Stone confronted various challenges. One of these was the fact that hieroglyphs had fallen out of use 1,400 years before, with the last confirmed hieroglyphic inscription cut into a gateway about 400 CE. Notwithstanding the challenges that would-be decipherers encountered, a slew of researchers hurried to unlock the Rosetta Stone's code. Champollion, the French philologist who eventually succeeded, and Thomas Young, an English physician who had made significant advances to scientists' knowledge of light, emerged as clear frontrunners. Champollion was born in 1790 in France. He was homeschooled until the age of 9, when he joined his elder brother at the Académie de Grenoble to finish his studies. During his tenure in Grenoble, he met Fourier, an important member of the Egyptian mission who introduced Champollion to ancient languages and the world of Egypt. After discovering his interest in Egyptology, he pursued his undergraduate studies at the School of Oriental Languages in Paris, where he graduated with considerable knowledge of many ancient languages, most notably the Coptic language, which he claimed was spoken in ancient Egypt. Champollion returned to Grenoble after graduation and worked as an assistant professor of history at the Académie de Grenoble. Champollion was able to decipher the hieroglyphic text by using the oval shapes known as karates, which contain the names of kings and queens. He then compared these names to the Greek text to distinguish between the names of Ptolemy and Cleopatra, but the most crucial discovery Champollion made was the orientation of the hieroglyphs, which relied on which side the hieroglyphic animals were facing. Champollion was able to better understand the Rosetta Stone after following Young's lead. He discovered that the signals might be classified into three types: alphabetic, syllabic, and determinative. Furthermore, he discovered that the hieroglyphic component was a translation of the Greek portion, which was previously considered to be the other way around. The inscription on the Rosetta Stone is a priestly council decree. On the first anniversary of his coronation, it is one of a series of images that confirm the royal cult of the 13-year-old Ptolemy V. Several scholars, including Englishman Thomas Young, made progress with the Rosetta Stone's initial hieroglyphics analysis, and since Champollion published his findings, mostly without mentioning Young's crucial work, there has been a heated discussion about whether he used Young's ideas without crediting him or whether Young's discoveries had little influence on Champollion, who instead reached the identical conclusions on his own. Views frequently divide along nationalistic lines, with those from England seeing Champollion's work as based on Young's without appropriate credit, and those from France seeing Young as inconsequential in the path to decipherment and Champollion as the only serious innovator. Despite repeated calls for its return to Egypt, the Rosetta Stone is now housed in the British Museum in London. Thanks for joining me on this adventure. Remember to like and subscribe to see more content like this.